Good afternoon, everyone. There's still some people joining just now, and we've got quite a lot of people joining this session this afternoon. So we're going to give people 1 more minute, and then we'll get started. Thanks. You let us know when you're good to go, Jamie, yeah? Okay, so I think that's us. Quite a number of people joined now, so we'll just get things started. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome to this session on JET Reports and Analytics. My name is Eileen Primrose. I'm Head of Sales and Customer Account Management for our Dynamics division within KIC. We wanted to hold this session this afternoon to demonstrate to you how JET Reports and Analytics can be used to gain powerful reports and business intelligence directly from the data held within your NAV and Business Central system. So I'm joined by my colleague Jan from our partner Insight Software, who are the provider of JET Reports and Analytics. And in this session, Jan is going to demonstrate some examples of JET dashboards and how easy it is to create these. As we go through the demonstration, please just post any questions you have in the questions section of the WebEx, as we've left some time at the end just to answer off any questions that you might have as we go through. So I'll just now hand over to Jan to get started. So thanks, Jan. Yeah.
Thank you, Eileen. I'm Jan. I'm a technical account manager, as Eileen said, at Insight Software. And we provide the partner with support, and we provide the partner with the software, basically, JET Reports and JET Analytics. So let me just kick off this first slide. So what I want to show you today is mainly how we can have JET Analytics work together with Power BI. Of course, I'll show you some Excel, but we're going to focus on that Power BI and, as Eileen said, those default or standard dashboards we have, and just show you how easy it is to create them yourselves. So basically what we do at JET Analytics is we make it really easy for people to get going with Power BI. We provide a couple of data sets that allow you to create a lot of dashboards from the get-go, just after a simple and painless installation. Let me see, I'm gonna skip some slides here. I do want to show you the demo material soon. So the main importance we have here on JET Analytics is that there's almost no SQL scripting, there's almost no scripting involved. Just want to get you going and allow you to maintain that environment. Really simple. So just jump into Power BI. So what I got here, I got a little folder with some dashboards on here. I can take one step back and actually, if I go to our website, we have a set of sample reports on our Insight Software website, where you can see, I think we have about 80 of them based in Excel. We have also a number of them, as you've seen earlier, in Power BI. So we got a lot of them. You can download them, can look into those, and JET Analytics mainly allows you to just run these on your system, on any system. So I took liberty to downloading them already. Here's a number of the Power BI dashboards, and I opened up the sales by customer 1. So as you can see, it's a straightforward dashboard, and it uses some Power BI, some nice Power BI visuals. What I want to show you is how easy Jetanalytics makes it for you to make these on your own, because it's always nice to have these almost 100 reports just to start off with, but it's more important to just be able to edit them, maintain them, create your own based on your own data. So what Jetanalytics does for you, and I'll just open up a blank Power BI dashboard here. So what Jetanalytics does for you, we bring Jetanalytics with 6 or 7 data models, pre-built data models, depending on business units. A couple of examples of those are sales, inventory, purchase, finance. So whichever business unit you're in, or whichever department you're in, you can start building your dashboards upon those. I'm just going to connect to one of those. And I set up the sales data model. As I said, with a couple of clicks, I can set up some extras. I just did the sales. The dashboard you saw earlier was also based on the sales. So I'll pick up the sales dashboard. So what we did behind the scenes there, what happened here is a lot of the data within Business Central is just preset in this data model, so that someone with a basic Power BI knowledge or even a basic pivot table knowledge can start building a dashboard like that. So thinking of that sales dashboard earlier, I saw some customers in there, I saw some salespersons in there, saw some item information in there, and we can start doing that. So let me pull up a little bar chart right here. And for example, let's look for that salesperson. I don't even need to know where it is in this data model. Power BI allows me to just search that salesperson, just like the salesperson from the bill to customer. And let's see if he has some sales amount. Let me see, they're just called sales. There you go. And as soon as I click the salesperson and the sales, I get the salesperson and their sales, of course. I know I got a couple of companies in this organization, in this BC database behind there. So let me put the company on the legend, so I can see the salesperson work in both companies, most of them at least. Yeah, of course, I got all the data from all the time now. So let's put a little slicer on here so I can filter this by year or by month. And I'm pulling that from the posting date and just put the year on there, and maybe make that a little, oh, the wrong arrow, sorry. Make that a drop down. So I can just select a year if I wanted to. Let's put it to 2022. And you'll see that visual just jumps around. Of course, I'm going to remove these files. So I'm going to add a couple more visuals. Maybe let's do something with the item. Let's put the item category on a pie chart. So I got the item categories, and I'll pick up the quantities on those. Let's put those here. And on the bottom, I maybe want to see a timeline. I want to see a chart over time in terms of sales. So let me make that a line chart and put some sales on there and put that on a posting date. I can open this posting date up. So that's by quarter, that's by month. If I click one further, it will even go by day. So I'm gonna go one up, and this is my entire month, all my months for the year. Might look better as a column chart. Put it in a column chart. There we go. And maybe put some nice colors on there using the country from the customer. And you'll see that this is all mainly USA. And of course, if I click on one of those, I see that devised on Power BI as well. So the main idea here, as you can see, is that yes, we have a large set of pre-built dashboards where you can do look at, you can pick up a lot of inspiration around that, but creating your own based on a good data model like this one doesn't need to take long. You can do that in a couple of clicks, and you can make your entire dashboard and use all the visuals you'd like. For example, these countries are pretty terrible. I choose something else to visualize that. I realized just now, but it's really easy to create dozens of those in a matter of time. So how does Jet Analytics help here? Well, as I said, we have a large BC database behind there, and I'll quickly jump into that, because what you've seen me do here is the front end work, which is the most fun work, I think, right? You're creating a dashboard, you're seeing your data visualized, it moves around, you can select all sorts of especially moving visuals in the Power BI, but that is the front end. And actually the main work where people struggle the most and where they're stuck on in their BI is that back end, and that is identifying all the data, putting it together, maybe putting it in the correct currency, because you have a lot of currencies in your system, and that's all the stuff that Jet Analytics handles for you. And so that is the backend. That allows us to have a lot of front end users. So a situation we see a lot is something like this. You might have a couple of data sources, might be a CRM on there or something with budgets, and people are using Excel. Well, in reality, people are using Excel. They're doing all sorts of stuff in Excel, and you have little control, or a lot of errors happen that way as well, because these people need to know the system, and it's not always that easy knowing these systems. Now what happens if we just switch over to Power BI? You create the same situation, because these people are still connecting to Power BI directly, still connecting to Business Central directly, and there's still a lot of room for error. And the biggest bottleneck in this situation is usually this guy right here, who creates all the dashboards, creates all the reports, but he needs to know all of these systems, and he needs to know Power BI, and then needs to know what the business needs, because he needs to create that dashboard. So what we do with Jet Analytics, we basically put system in between, which delivers data models to the users. So the end users, the front end users, as you can see, they can create those dashboards very easily with a couple of clicks. And you only need to define one time, how does my budget look, how does it look? It's all predefined, and all users can make use of that, instead of the one user that uses it to connect directly to the data source. But that is the main power behind it. What you can see here, for example, we also have I also have an Excel guy in here, because you can still use Excel. That's one of the big advantages. What we have made there, what the data models, that is all Microsoft technology. So Excel also connects to that. So if I were to open up an Excel file, and I would go through the exact same process, getting the data from that database, the same one I had earlier, which is my Jet sales. I actually get a pivot table in here. So let me insert that chart from earlier. I had a bar chart like this, and I had a salesperson on there. Salesperson on the customer card. There we go. And I'll have a company in there and some sales. And earlier I had the same chart, but it was stacked, I'm guessing. So let me make this one stacked as well. So basically it is really straightforward in Excel to end up with the exact same numbers, exact same data. I can just choose the front end I want, and again, with a couple of clicks, if I prefer Excel, for example, I can just go into Excel, remove this chart for a second, throw my posting date on there. Where is my posting date? Throw my posting date on there, and I can just click, go through Excel, click open until I'm at the right date, and I can see this number here, and I can actually in Excel do the drill down, click it through and see the complete detail on that. So Excel has some merits. Power BI is a really powerful visualization tool and allows us to make nice visuals and distribute these reports very easily. But nothing stops us from diving into exactly the same numbers in Excel. Okay. So let me see if I want to open. So what is behind the scenes here? Of course, we have a setup that allows us to have this setup really fast. But that's not the only thing. We also want to maintain this because, as you can see, we have a data model coming in here, and not all my information is in there, right? We keep this limited for very good reasons. You don't want this to be overcomplicated, but you will want to add something to that. So what we have behind the scenes is just a system to keep that all consistent and maintain that data. We're not going to dive deep into this, but I'm going to show you briefly. And this is called the data manager, and this allows us to maintain that very easily and very consistently. The biggest power behind this is that it keeps really good track of what happens to the data. So it's very easy to document, very easy to show you, look, yeah, the sales number, that's how it came together. I can visualize this within the software even. For example, I could look at the item number on my Business Central, and I could see what happens to that item number within the system. So I can actually see, oh, it's used in those data models, sales, inventory, and purchase. So that is actually what helps us to really easily maintain this. And even if we do small modifications, I saw, for example, if I jump back into my Power BI, on my item table here, I got my item category and got a product posting and an inventory posting, but I got no product group in there. So even if I wanted to do small modifications to this system, I can just jump into my BC here and actually jump into the item table there, find the field I need, the product group code, and then I just need to pull it through with a drag and drop on my data table, and then one more time to my data model. So, and this is all I need to do. So even these small modifications are really easily done. And as you can see, if I were to look at my product group code now, I can just see, oh, just pull through to the data and then towards the data model and the sales. So to apply these changes, I am just gonna do a quick modification or do a quick save, and now it's gonna apply these, pull that data through. If there's any questions, by the way, as I said, I don't want to get too deep into the technical of this, but if there's any questions, feel free to ask. Meanwhile. But what we're doing behind the scenes here is of course all Microsoft technology. This is all SQL Server or Azure SQL. This is all analysis services, Azure analysis services. Okay. And then after a couple of clicks, I can jump back into my Power BI, do a refresh, and my product group code will pop up there. And let's get rid of the, I want to say I want to replace the company with a product group, but it's going to be worse. So I'm just going to make a little new table here that shows me my sales posted transactions. Let's take my profit percentage and my discount percentage per product group code, and then change the order on that. There you go. I got my product group code in there already. So what happens here is that we have that usually that specialization of that someone needs to create a dashboard like this. we basically split it up. We just say, look, we have people that know the system, that can prepare the data, and then we have a number of people, maybe one in every department, that can actually make these dashboards for sales, for finance, for inventory, for purchase. So that is what happens here, and that is what allows us to make these dashboards as fast as you can see here. Okay, I can dive in. I don't know, just a second. I think I'm good on time here, Aileen. I think you're muted, or yeah, you're muted, Aileen.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes. So yeah, good for time. Another 8 minutes. Okay. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, super. Yeah, I'm not going to dive into all the Excel bits and bobs then. What we have here, a couple of things that we have we've seen with a lot of implementations that we miss in Power BI is, for example, an advanced scheduling functionality. So what we did is with Jet Analytics, we also have Jet Reports. That's an entirely different session, I'd say. But this also allows us to make these reports in Excel, or a number of these, and then schedule them, batch schedule, and so we have a really powerful scheduler in there to distribute these reports if we use the Excel side of things. So we notice that within our customer base, that Excel functionality really complements that Power BI functionality. So let me dive into my slideshow, see what I missed there. So why do we use Jet Analytics? Because we can just set it up in very little time and get going with your own data. Start opening up those standard reports, and then just start creating your own. Very straightforward. Okay, let's see. Yeah. On top of that, it makes it really easy for us to add extra data to maintain a project like this, but also to add extra data sources. So if you were to have an NAV, or you have an NAV at this point, and you may be planning on going to a BC maybe in a year or two, it's really straightforward. We can put all the data together, and again, the person building that dashboard, he doesn't have to care about what was that product group called in the older system. That is done beforehand. It is all put together nicely so that everybody can benefit from that, instead of having to do that on a report to report basis, which makes all the data and all the reporting a lot more consistent, of course. Yeah, I think I'm through there. I know that was a brief demo. You guys were just looking at the time there.
Yeah, that's fine. There's been a couple of questions come through, Jan. So happy to cover them off if we can do that. So one of the questions is, and you may have slightly answered this, is will my existing Jet reports and analytics migrate when I upgrade from NAV to Business Central?
Yeah. So what it actually does is a lot more. We can combine the data there, and what that allows us to do is it allows us to make the migration a lot less painful. So we can leave a lot of oftentimes a lot of the transactional data is just migrated just for reporting, and it takes a lot of time, and you take a lot of old stuff with you that you don't want to take with you. Maybe because you're migrating all the transactions, you also have to migrate a number of items or a number of customers, especially items, for example, that you don't want to migrate anymore. You haven't sold them, you haven't used them in 5 years, but so you can leave all of those behind, and we just combine them into the data manager together so that your Power BI and your Excel can report on those, but you don't pollute your new Business Central installation with that. So yeah, it makes migrating actually a lot less painful that way.
Super, thank you. And one of the questions is there any difference in functionality for Jet Analytics, if you're migrating from older versions of NAV, for example 2009. So I think that's probably just covered off in the previous question that was there.
So
I think
the great thing about that is that as soon as so we have a number of connectors in here. Actually, we have connected for hundreds of data sources in there, and we have a couple of them for NAV. If I count them, I think we're up to about 5 or 7 ways to connect to NAV or BC, various BC or NAV configurations. But it's just setting up the connection, and once that connection is set up, it's basically all the same whatever system you're using. We have a lot of customers, for example, moving from this is a BC on SQL. I can actually move this this one up to public cloud tomorrow, and then I just click to this one and I enter the public cloud login information, and it changes it around. So yeah, that's really painless, to be honest.
And last one is those standard reports, I think, that you showed us at the beginning of the session. Are you able just to download them from the website?
Yeah, you can click and view and download on just any of them, and it'll ask you some questions, and then when you download them, it's one big zip file with all of them in there. So yeah, you can just and to be honest, I usually don't search them on the website. If I'm looking for them, I just go to Google and I enter something like Jet Reports, sample reports, and it'll be just the first link in there. So
super. Okay, and that's mainly the questions that have come through. So just a short session today, and we'd be delighted to follow up with anyone on the session. So I think that was hopefully extremely useful.
One more question. Can you access all the table in Business Central Cloud? Yeah, that is a very good question. Usually that refers to extension tables, and we can actually read all of those. We made our own extension within public cloud, and we actually got that comment a couple of times that we apparently even read hidden tables from extensions. We've seen extensions that hide all of their tables for some reason, and even those we can just read those. Yeah.
Super. Well, as I say, hopefully everyone found that demonstration really useful, and seen just the power of those data visualizations and the analytics that you can get with Jet, and I think especially having those pre-built reports, that's extremely useful for customers just to be able to download. And as I say, we'll follow up. We'll be sending out the recording to everyone on the webinar session just now, and we can follow up with everyone just to make sure that you. If you've got any other questions, or if there's any other information that you need, then we'd be delighted to help with that. So thank you, Jan, and thank you everyone for joining. Thanks again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.